Schools are supposed to be safe havens, a place where students learn, grow, and form lifelong friendships. But sometimes the walls of a school can become the boundaries of unimaginable fear. Today, I'll be sharing 3 terrifying lockdown stories that happened within school walls. Each story is real and more chilling than the last, so turn off the lights, lean in close, and prepare to be haunted by these tales of terror. It was a Friday just before spring break, a day when the whole school felt alive with anticipation. Our calculus teacher, Mr. Thompson, had decided to take it easy, letting us unwind with a fun logo quiz game. We were laughing and guessing, the buzz of excitement in the air, when suddenly the intercom crackled to life. The dean's voice broke through, urgent and filled with panic. "This is not a drill, lock down now!" The room fell silent, our hearts collectively skipping a beat. Mr. Thompson's expression changed instantly, his usual calm demeanor replaced with a look of worry. He rushed to the door, turning off the lights, and then motioned for us to move to the back corner of the classroom. We all followed without a word, our carefree mood replaced with a thick tension. The power went out, plunging the entire school into darkness. We sat in silence, every little sound amplified in the eerie quiet. Suddenly the silence was shattered by the sound of a man's voice screaming from down the hallway. His voice was filled with rage and desperation. "I'll kill all of you!" he bellowed, his words echoing through the empty corridors. The sound of metal crashing against lockers followed, making us all jump. I could feel my hands start to shake, my breathing becoming shallow. The banging grew louder, and then it was at our door. He was pounding so hard that the door shook. One of the girls couldn't hold back a sob, her fear spilling into the silent room. "Open the door!" the man screamed. His voice was raw, as if he had been screaming for hours. We were frozen, each of us holding our breath, praying that he wouldn't get in. After what felt like an eternity, the banging stopped and we heard his footsteps moving away. We stayed huddled together, not daring to move, until the dean's voice came back on the intercom, calmer this time, telling us the lockdown was over. Later, we learned that a mentally unstable man had broken into the school. He had attacked the front desk clerk and roamed the hallways with a metal pipe, yelling incoherently. Security footage showed him wandering the halls, trying doors, looking for a way in. He was eventually found hiding in a storage closet, but he fled before the police could arrive. To this day, no one knows if he was ever caught. I can still hear his voice, screaming in the darkness every time I walk those halls. Story 2, the multi-purpose room. It was a gloomy, rainy October day. I was in the cafeteria sitting with friends during the first lunch period. The cafeteria was packed, the sound of hundreds of conversations blending together into a familiar, comforting noise. Suddenly, that noise was shattered by 4 loud booms echoing through the room. The floor seemed to vibrate with each one. At first I thought it was thunder, but then everyone started screaming. Campus security burst through the doors, yelling for everyone to get inside the multi-purpose room immediately. We grabbed our things and rushed in, some kids leaving their lunch behind. The room quickly filled up, hundreds of students packed in tightly. Staff members ran to close the curtains over the glass walls, blocking the view outside, and positioned themselves by the doors, their faces tense. The room was filled with whispers and anxious faces. My friend Eric managed to pull aside one of the adults to ask what was happening. He came back looking pale, his voice shaky. "There's a guy outside his house across the street," he said. "He's got a gun and says he'll kill himself and anyone who tries to stop him." My stomach dropped. The man was a known sex offender and he had been seen lurking around the school watching us. We were stuck in that room for hours, missing 2 class periods. No one could leave until the situation was resolved. We later found out that the man lived next door to my friend Brandy. She told me that the previous Halloween, she had seen him through his window writing on the glass with what looked like blood, "Don't come here or I'll kill you." She thought it was just a Halloween prank, but now it seemed much more sinister. The man was eventually talked down by the police and he surrendered without incident. But the fear lingered. Every time I walked past his house on my way home, I couldn't help but feel like he was watching, waiting for his chance. It was a long time before I felt safe again. I had just started a job as a computer intern at my old high school, which had me working in a small office down in the basement. It was a cozy spot, my own little corner away from the hustle of the school. That day, I was alone in the office. My co-workers, Dave and Gary, were upstairs. I was taking my lunch break scrolling through my phone when the front office called. They said the school was on lockdown. There was a possible intruder, and he might be armed. There wasn't much I could do. The basement didn't have a proper door, just a wide opening at the top of the stairs. I turned off the lights, sat down, and waited. I texted Dave and Gary, but there was no response. The silence was heavy. The only sound, the faint hum of the servers in the next room. I was playing games on my phone when I heard it, the creak of the basement door opening. My heart stopped. Someone was coming down the stairs. I froze, barely daring to breathe. The footsteps were slow, deliberate. I slipped under my desk, trying to make myself as small as possible. A figure entered the office, but he didn't turn on the lights. My phone buzzed with a text message, the sound unbearably loud in the quiet room. The footsteps grew closer, and I could see a shadow moving towards my desk. I felt my whole body go cold with fear. Then I felt it, his hand, cold and rough, grabbing my arm. I screamed and tried to pull away, but he held on tight. "Shut up!" he hissed. I could see the outline of his hat, the red shirt in the darkness. My heart was pounding so loud I thought it would burst. He let go of me, turning away, and in that moment I bolted. I ran up the stairs 2 at a time, bursting into the light. I didn't stop until I was outside, surrounded by police cars and flashing lights. Later I found out that the man had shot Mr. Buckley, our history teacher, in the shoulder. He had entered the school during a break, blending in with students. No one noticed until it was too late. Mr. Buckley survived, but the man disappeared, leaving behind a trail of fear and uncertainty. The lockdown lasted hours as the police searched every corner of the school, but he was never found. I never went back to that basement office again. These stories serve as a chilling reminder that even in the places we feel safest, danger can be just around the corner. School lockdowns have become a tragic reality, and the fear they bring can leave scars long after the doors are unlocked. Stay safe out there, and remember, sometimes it's the quietest places that hold the loudest terrors. Have you ever experienced a school lockdown? What happened and how did you feel? Share your story in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more chilling tales. Until next time, stay safe and stay vigilant.